2025 came and went, and I want to take a moment to highlight some of the things I enjoyed throughout the year. Before we get to the top 10, let's have a look at some honorable mentions. The Trails series is a phenomenal showcase of world building and overarching plot writing, and with a great strategic turn-based battle system that has continued to evolve with each entry. While there are a few too many anime tropes I don't enjoy scattered throughout, I've seen enough anime to just roll my eyes and move on. The things I like far outweighing the things I dislike. The game first released in Japan in 2004, and seeing it remade with all the bells and whistles of later entries has been a treat. But since I've only played the demo, I can't in good faith put it on my top 10 list. The last quarter of the year saw me get into traditional art in a way that I haven't done in a while, and during that time I rediscovered Proko, and it has been equal parts educational as it's been motivational. I've been playing it in the background while sketching and practicing watercolor, and I did for a brief moment consider adding watercolor as one of my favorite things this year instead, but hey, at least it got a mention. Riftbound is one of the latest trading card games to be released in a time where every franchise seems to be making one. And in an IP I only know from everything but their flagship title. I had definitely heard about League of Legends way before, but my initial first-hand exposure to the game's universe was through KDA's Pop Stars on Beat Saber. While that might not have been the best representation of the world as a whole, it did show me that Riot knows how to create some quality stuff. Follow that up with the much-loved animated series Arcane, and I needed very little convincing to check out Runeterra, a digital card game that I completely forgot had a PvP mode, favoring its excellent roguelike adventure mode instead. Riftbound, on the other hand, is a physical card game, and now I'm forced to play with people and socialize, and it's pretty darn good. I wish I could place this higher, but since the game has been impossible to get a hold of where I live, I've only been able to play it on Tabletop Simulator. Hopefully it will become more widely available this year, and if the stars align and my wallet allows it, perhaps it will make it on the list next year. I guess I shouldn't be surprised, but Toby Fox has still got it. Chapters 3 and 4 of Deltarune were funny and with a compelling continuation of the story. Deltarune hasn't been able to leave quite the same impact on me as Undertale did back when that was first released, but I blame that on me getting older as well as being already familiar with this particular flavor of storytelling. October was a pretty hectic month for me. I was overworked and constantly stressed, and I think I couldn't have picked a better time to play this game. Megabonk is not high art or anything, but it gave me the opportunity to just shut off mentally for a bit every night and help me through a bit of a rough patch, and for that I think it deserves a spot on this list. You wouldn't be far off calling it Vampire Survivors but 3D, but the additional movement mechanics and a better defined level structure does a lot for me personally. You know what? This list already feels a little bit off to me. Yeah, no, I think I'll just squeeze you in right here. Yeah. Okay. Next. I don't really play a lot of games that you could argue falls into the category of walking simulator, but Mouthwatching pulled me in with its promise of a good story and the beautifully realized PS1-like visuals. To say they have delivered feels like an understatement. Despite it being set in space, its themes are grounded and real. It tackles some pretty dark topics, but does so masterfully. If you're looking for engaging gameplay mechanics and stuff like that, then you're not gonna find it here. What mechanics are here to adjust the pacing of the storytelling, and I'm still thinking about that one even months after I beat it. And I think that's a pretty good sign. The art by Brett Parson, also known for illustrating several Tank Girl comics, pulled me towards this graphic novel. Pair that with an excellent story, loosely based on the co-writers Rick Remender and Brian Posen's own childhoods, and you get grommets. I don't know or care about American 80s skate or punk culture, which is the backdrop of the comic, but what I found here was a deeply engaging coming-of-age story. It's both comedic and heartfelt, and also oddly terrifying at times because of this guy. this guy, he just sort of felt a little bit too real, and like the guy exists in real life somewhere out there, and that kind of scares me. This is the latest manga series by One Punch Man and Mob Psycho creator 1, with art by Kyoto Shitara. Mob Psycho is standing as one-off, if not my absolute favorite anime of all time. So, going into this manga, I had pretty high expectations. One is an expert at creating compelling characters mixed with bizarre yet wonderful scenarios, and Bug Ego is no exception. The friends Kokudo and Hitsujiya form a friendship around trying out supernatural hacks written down in a book, which has some pretty ominous notes hinting at some associated danger with messing around with these things. It manages to be both hilarious and terrifying, and it is my personal favorite read of 2025. I love video game history. It's perhaps one of my favorite subjects, and the JRPG is my go-to genre of games. Mix those two and you get Datalog. It's a relatively new channel by the Final Fantasy Union guys, but now looking at other RPGs as well. It's a granular deep dive into the development history of classic games like Dragon Quest and Shin Megami Tensei, making this a match made in heaven for myself. Where Datalog felt as it was made for me, Matt's deep dives into comic and manga history feels like a helping hand in mending my lack of deeper knowledge about comic book history. While I've always enjoyed comics, my interest in the medium as a whole used to be fairly surface level, well into my 20s. I think because I knew I wanted to make games, learning that history felt a bit more natural, so now that I've been trying to fill the holes, channels like this have been a godsend. I particularly enjoyed the video on the creation of ElfQuest. It feels like the epitome of an indie comic success story, and I'll leave a link to that as well as other things on the list in the description. There's got to be a glitch in my memory because I refuse to believe I watched the first episode of The Amazing Digital Circus back in 2023, but my Discord chat history tells me otherwise. Despite the show's popularity, however, I didn't realize how big Glitch Productions was until I saw a pop-up store in Ikebukuro with a life-size figurine of Pomni at the tail end of 2024. They've continued to grow both in team size and production quality. 2025 was another great year for them and for their fans, with new shows like Gaslight District and Knights of Guinevere getting a pilot episode each. Glitch is on this list not only because of the quality of their work, but also for showing a new path to indie animators on how to produce and distribute shows in a way that, if successful, can quickly become very sustainable. Their website states that their goal is to change the way the West creates teen and young adult animation, and I think they might have just gone and done that. Space King barely misses the spot for my favorite piece of animation in 2025. I don't think that saves me from Flash Kids' definition of their own target audience as being mentally ill 30-year-old men, but you know, if that's the badge I need to wear to enjoy this stuff, then, well, so be it. The show follows a team of psycho warriors, muscular men in power armor, on a quest to find Space King artifacts and kill the heretics. If the footage on screen hasn't made it obvious already, it's a homage/parody of Warhammer 40k, but it definitely feels like its own thing. It is hilariously over the top whenever it can be, even in its own mid-roll ads, which, okay, listen, if you haven't seen it, make sure to not skip their ads. It's totally worth your time. They're amazing. Now, these guys, they know what they're doing, and all I have to say is, praise be to Space King. Look, they didn't get the top spot. That's not to say they wouldn't deserve it. I just have one more thing that I think deserves it more for my personal taste. I don't think there's anything I can say about this game that hasn't been covered in great depth 1,000 times over by someone else. It's a laser-focused experience in my favorite genre of games, proving that turn-based combat isn't dead. Top that off with stellar visuals and music, and of course, this is going to rank highly. I started watching One Piece in 2019, and when I finally caught up, I just couldn't wait. I jumped over to the manga and kept reading. I had to know more. One Piece had its claws in me, and it would not and have not let go since. Christmas Day 2023 comes around, and chapter 1102 drops. I don't think anyone wished for a punch in the gut or heartache, or however you want to describe the feeling you had when you read it, but they sure as hell got it. Me included. This year saw the adaptation of this chapter, and they did such a fantastic job with it. I don't cry all that easily, but I'll be man enough to admit when I did. This was the culmination of so much in a series blessed with an insanely high batting average of great storytelling, and with this, they truly knocked it out of the park, making this my favorite piece of anything of 2025. And now we're here, in 2026, and there are a few things I'm already excited for. The much anticipated and delayed early access of Slay the Spire 2 is getting closer, and I'm sure this is the year we'll hear more about the third and final part of the Final Fantasy VII Remake trilogy. Maybe this is the year that Valve learns to count to 3. Probably not, but a man can dream. I don't know what to expect from comics this year, only that I want to read more. And now that you guys know me a little bit better, perhaps you have a recommendation that you want to share in the comments. Or perhaps a game, or a series you enjoy. Either way, let me know and I'll see you in the next video. Okay, so I'm realizing now that I'm missing Dispatch from this list. I really like Dispatch, it's a really good game, but the only problem that I have is that why is Robert on the floor in the beginning of the game? Like, the guy says that he kicked him, like that would be the reason why he's on the floor, but the problem is that both his legs are tied. So are you telling me that Robert got kicked, he got up again, tied his legs, and then lay down on the ground? I mean, sure, I guess it's plausible, but doesn't it seem a little bit unrealistic? I mean, it's not a big. The game is good. Anyway, I have a comic. Read it if you want to.